dogs are listening.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
What we got's gonna turn your brain into shit.
Why you laugh?
Zlurpcast!
I don't want to be live.
I don't know, are we?
I don't think I hit the live button. Okay, I think we're okay. I think this is live on tape. So like you and I are live right now.
Okay.
But
okay.
anyone watching or listening, that's after the fact.
Gotcha.
I believe. It almost went live last time because the time before the last recording was our live episode in July, and the settings were still in there. So we almost had a huge faux pas, if you will, or fox pass. And that would have been
So
bad.
what you're saying is you should subscribe to the channel, and maybe you will catch us off guard and watch a live episode someday that we don't intend.
Yeah, maybe. That actually, yeah. I mean, you might get possibly the mistakes. You know, the bloopers. You know, the bleeps, the blunders, the bloopers, all of those. You might get those. So,
All the shit talking we do about people that we edit out.
yeah, we still do that? I don't know.
No, not much.
Not
but
much. That was a thing for a while, though. we were so angry. Extreme. We're older now, wiser, in our 40s. You're officially are you late 40s or mid 40s?
I'm 45, so I guess the day after you turn 45, you're late 40s.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
So you're in my group now. Yeah. I just turned. It's so weird to say 48. Like 48 when we were kids was like fucking Wilford Brimley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I got fucking like Iron Maiden books and Ninja Turtles back here, and I'm supposed to be like a great grandfather. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I'll tell you what, speaking of weird, we're going to talk about tournaments we went to in the graveyard and talk about some strange personalities from the past that we got to see. We're going to preview things in around the old world. We might even bring back some stuff. I mean, I don't know. Extreme. One thing I was doing the other day, I created I was going through a bunch of my songs, and I said, we have these songs that we used on Zlurpcast by the band Forlin. It's not even around anymore, so nobody can sue us. They're gone. But I'm like, I should just put those. So I have a playlist on Spotify if you want to check it out. It's called Zlurpcast the Music. You can search it. I'll put it in the notes as well. But it's got all the songs, the real songs of our intros if you want to hear that. And as I was going through those, I was like, man, we should bring some of those back. Extreme, what do you think about bringing back Good Dwarf, Bad Dwarf?
I mean, there's definitely a call for it. I think it could be fun.
Okay. What do you think about maybe bringing back Go For It, the game show one day?
That sounds like some effort would be involved, but I think it would be enjoyable.
Do you think Go For It would be better on if we did another live show? Because that way we're going to ask for answers right away. We want people to Google stuff. But I think if it's live, there's a little more pressure, more like a real game show,
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I think we're going to bring some bits back, some bits. It's always fun to have some of that. There's a lot of Blood Bowl podcasts out there right now. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, we could step up the game a little bit. I'm back into the game. I didn't really enjoy a lot of my games last year. So why not take advantage of this newfound enjoyment? Extreme, you're having still like a long level of enjoyment, right? You've been all in on Blood Bowl for several years now. And is there no turning back at this point? Is there nothing that could scare you away from this game anymore?
Not completely, no. I mean, I could definitely see I could slow down, but I don't have any plans to slow down, but I could see things changing to cause me to slow down, but I don't think I would ever leave completely.
If you made it through the dwarf changes, you can make it through anything. Anything.
Yeah, well, I haven't made it through them yet.
Well,
I'm just getting into it.
You're not yet. That's true. You haven't made it through anything yet. I saw something the other day. It was on the NAF site, the NAF, the governing body of Tournament Blood Bowl, I guess. And it had all the Blood Bowl podcasts on there. And we weren't at the top. We were like just somewhere in the middle. And they're like, first it was Blood Bowl, then no Blood Bowl, then Blood Bowl. Like, all right, fine. You know what? Speaking of let's go all in on Blood Bowl. We had those shirts, those Blood Bowl friend shirts. Some people have them out there. Coins are out there. Those are all gone now. Games Workshop put the kibosh to that. This is for real. They're not on our merch store anymore. So can't get those anymore. If you got them, they're probably worth some dough now. So what I did was, you know what? I wanted to put the spotlight further on Zlurpcast, especially for Games Workshop. I want them to shut down even more. So we now own bloodbowlpodcast.com. That's our new website. And you can go to bloodbowlpodcast.com, because that way, if they ever decide to make an official Blood Bowl podcast at that, they've got to pay us. Go to bloodbowlpodcast.com for the merch store, whatever's left in there, and everything else you could possibly want. Dare I say, your move, Jarvis. Your move.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be very profitable for us.
Yeah, I'll split it with you, obviously. So at the very least, I would say we're increasing the book of grudges, because how dare you shut down our Blood Bowl friend. Can I just say also, if you've seen the design for Blood Bowl friend, like there's nothing GW about it except for the words Blood Bowl. There's way more. There's like shirts in the same Redbubble store that have the symbols for the dice. Those are still there. But because I said the words Blood Bowl, it's like, come on.
I think it's probably very automated and generic search that they did.
You don't think there's a guy?
I don't think so.
Oh, shit. I wanted to fight somebody. I can't fight a computer. I'll lose. Much like Ivan Drago. He's a machine, you know? Like, what can I do? Anyway, Xtreme, in the intro here, anything else you want to preview, or shall we get into the tournament graveyard?
I think I'm ready to get into it.
Okay. Producer, let's cue up the music.
Brought to you by Ogre Guardian. When you're here, you eat families.
You are tuned into the Zlurpcast. The Tournament Graveyard.
Ooh, the tournament graveyard. I would say our most prolific segment. Much like you're the most prolific dwarf coach in the world, Xtreme, this is also our most prolific segment because it always feels like we have something we went to talk about, right? I would say every episode, is it fair that every episode had a graveyard in it? Probably.
Probably not everyone, but most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all right. I was trying to make a big deal out of it. That's fine.
Why you laugh?
You went to the Winter Solstice tournament in Austin, Texas. So tell me how you know, this is kind of, we talked about, you know, being up there in years and how we have to be more adult in things we do. Combining a work trip into Blood Bowl, that's pretty modern day adult. We've seen other adults do that, you know, and you're like, man, I want to do that one day. So how did you finagle that one?
So when I started this new job not new job, I've been there 2 years now. They told me that I would have to make these trips to our outer warehouses, and the locations they were talking about, I was like, oh wow, there's like a lot of Blood Bowl activity in all these locations. That's pretty cool.
You're like, I'll take this job. I'm in.
And then as I got into the role more, I found that I had some control over when I was going. So I was like, okay, all I have to do is find the right time of year and line this up right, and then tell them I don't want to fly out until Sunday instead of Friday, and go do my thing.
All right, so I got to ask, does anyone at your job, one, know about Blood Bowl, two, know about your plan? Because, and I guess 2B, not 3, but 2B would be, are they watching Zlurpcast? And now they know.
They are not watching Zlurpcast. Okay. I'll start there.
That's a guarantee?
Yes.
Okay.
There are several people that know about Blood Bowl.
That's pretty close, though. I'm just saying, if you think you're so like sure that no one's watching Zlurpcast, the fact that they know about Blood Bowl, that's like almost there, because that's one Google away.
What they know about it is that I travel to all these tournaments and I play this game, but they haven't shown any interest in the game. Just know that this is something.
You don't think anyone has ever typed in Brian Mitchell Blood Bowl and then Zlurpcast links come up probably?
I don't know.
Okay, so they know you.
Possible.
They know you travel for this game. Do you talk about like you're a big deal, like that kind of thing?
Normally, I would not tell anybody about Blood Bowl, but there is like. So we hired a new person into our little team, our inventory team, and it's a woman, and she's very bubbly and outgoing, and like pulls information out of people.
Yep.
So it's like, what'd you do this weekend? And fuck, okay. Or why'd you have those extra days off? Well, see.
Yes, that's man. I don't want to make this gender, but like that happens a lot. There's a lot more small talk with women at work.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, do I lie? And then I got to remember the lie? Fuck, I'm not good at remembering the lie. Like Judge Judy says, if you always tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. And I'm like, I just got to spill the beans. But you're totally right. So she pulled it out of you and you said, I'm going to play this game. It's a tournament in Texas. Was the response, oh, that's cool? Or, okay, dork?
No, she thought it was kind of cool.
Okay.
But then she proceeded. The problem here is where it becomes a problem. She proceeded to talk to other people in the break room about it.
Hey, did you
so
hear
then people
about
were
Brian?
approaching me.
Brian's playing a Blood Bowl.
Specifically around Gen Con, because we do big events. I work for an AV company, so we were doing stuff there. So then when people heard that I was at Gen Con, they wanted to come up, and some of the conversations, like, she didn't get all the facts quite right. So they were coming to me like, oh, I heard you're like #1 player in the world. I'm like, whoa, no, no, that's not the...
I mean, in sort of like in your mind and in your fluff, I would say, there's probably some truth there. But yeah, things can get, the positive about, well, I don't know if there's a positive. I will say that what happens when people start to know too much, then the story starts to just morph automatically. Because something I encountered, I don't remember like any specifics, but years ago, just someone I was talking to, kind of like you, assumed if you're traveling to go to a tournament, you must be really good. Like that was a thought people had. It's like, no, it was just to hang out and see my friends. And it's weird. I think people can understand traveling to go to a game tournament, but I don't think they understand traveling to go to a game tournament if you're not even that competitive. You know what I mean? They figure, oh, well, you're going because you want to take home this big trophy, the prize. Not like, oh, I'm just going to, screw around, hang out with my friends.
So you asked if they knew that I extended my trip for Blood Bowl, and the answer to that would be no. All I mentioned was that I had friends in the area, and I was going to stay for the weekend and hang out with them.
Did they say, what were those friends' names?
They did not.
What would you have said?
Like, I don't know, okay.
You would have
probably
said,
would have come clean at that point.
Actually, at that point, the correct response would be, do you want real names or NAF names? Because I only know NAF names.
Like, or just start listing off NAF names. Right. Don't say anything about, wow, your friends have weird names.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thunderlord 69, that's his real name. That's his real name.
Why you laugh?
His mom's really cool. That's what she named him.
So, no, I think it's cool that you were able to do this. So you got to play. Now, the first night was not Blood Bowl. It was Dungeon Bowl, right?
Yeah, so there was a Dungeon Bowl event Friday night. So I was there working Monday through Thursday. Monday was my trip. Whatever. I was there working. There was a Dungeon Bowl event Friday. So I went there, but the turnout ended up being very small, so we just did like one skirmish game.
Why do you think that happened? Because, I mean, I would totally show up for Dungeon Bowl.
I don't really know. This is my first time in the Texas area. I know Friday, because it was a Saturday tournament and it was just the one-day tournament, getting people to come in Friday if they had to travel and stay somewhere is going to be a hard sell. And then variants in general, I think people are less excited about.
Do you think in general, yeah, I would say you're right, probably on the variants, but I was also thinking if you're a local, and I'm not, this area specifically, but just in general, if you're a local and you're already committing an entire Saturday, it may be difficult to also go out Friday night too, right? Because you're like, listen, I'm already going to be away from family or whatever responsibilities on an all-day Saturday. I got to be around Friday. So it might be I think it's probably both. I think it's probably, in general, people care a lot less about variance. Not me, but, I think most. And then also it's a lot to commit. So maybe even out-of-towners might have a better chance because they're like, well, I got nothing else to do except hang out with Blood Bowl friends, but
well,
yeah.
I think when you look at the Texas environment too, like when you say locals might be an hour or two away. So now it's not really feasible to get off work and fly over there, or get off work early probably to get over there on Friday.
So people were driving in that Saturday morning to play?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Most of them.
So you played
some... again, like relatively close in terms of America or Texas is not really close.
Right.
I mean, going into it, I didn't really put any thought into building my Dungeon Bowl team. My only thought was I don't want to pack a whole bunch of extra models. So I just took the Dwarves I was taking and, a couple Ogres and a Noblar, and I was done. That was my Dungeon Bowl team. Okay. So I was just there to goof off and have fun, and that's exactly what happened.
Sounds like mission accomplished. As for the actual Blood Bowl tournaments, so a pretty good turnout on Saturday.
Yeah, I believe there were 24 people in the range of 24, 26, something like that. So it was a really good turnout. A pretty cool little store. Not many people that I had ever met in person or met very many times, maybe at a Chaos Cup. But several people that I had played against on Fumble and known online or know of, watched their replays and stuff. Texas is, there are no shortage of great players in Texas. Like the skill level in Texas is very good. So I knew that going in. I knew a lot of these people, and it was really cool. And then I got surprised. Jeffro walked through the door, and I was like, what the hell are you doing here? You weren't on the list. Yeah. But he also kind of had a work-related trip, sort of. It was a golf outing, so not a work trip, but a work golf outing. And then he got away for Blood Bowl.
He is the kind of guy that does just kind of like randomly appear. Like he has, you know what I mean? Like Jeffro's kind of... I don't want him to take this the wrong way because he's watching or listening, but he's kind of magical. I don't know how to like, I don't know how to even explain that better. He's just kind of like a magical being. Like, I don't know if he's a human. I don't. He might be from, other realms, but he does tend to just like pop in, cast a fucking spell, and leave. So I think it's hilarious that he just popped in there, and he probably knew you were going to be there, but you didn't know he was going to be there, or no?
I don't know how much attention he was paying to it either. I didn't know he was going to be there for sure. Because we were using True Replay, so I was able to see like the list of people coming.
Oh, and he wasn't.
He wasn't on there.
Yeah.
He wasn't on there. I think till the morning of the tournament, his name popped up.
Wow.
I was like, oh,
that portal was opened that morning, so he jumped through the portal that morning. What do you expect him to do? That was pretty cool there, seeing a familiar face. It's always nice to meet new people, meet new Blood Bowl friends, but of course it is really nice to have somebody you already know, at least at the very least. Even if you don't get a chance to mingle a whole lot, you got someone else there you do know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not great socially, so it was nice to have like some anchor point of someone that I'm familiar with.
You like when people come up to you. You want to be the girl that gets asked out, right? You don't want to be the turnabout, so to speak, right?
Not necessarily. I don't like putting myself out there, but I don't necessarily want people to come over and talk to me.
Like if someone said, hey, Brian, I've read about you, I heard Zlurpcast. Would you like to go to lunch with me? What would you say? Just some random Blood Bowl guy.
That approached me with that conversation?
Yeah, I said, hey, I've listened to you on Zlurpcast for a long time. I've heard about you, the Dwarves. Could I take you to lunch? Like almost like they're saying, can I buy your lunch too? Just throwing that out there. Can I take you to lunch?
Just me and this one person.
Yep.
This is coming off a little weird.
What would you say?
I would probably go to lunch if I didn't have any plans.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I mean,
do you honestly think you're going to get sexually assaulted by a Blood Bowl coach? No, it's fucking harmless, dude.
All right.
Don't yeah. I would say don't kiss him, but first date, but just, do what you do. So you go to the tournament, you've got which team? The 40 Miners?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm just saying, because you packed, you said you wanted to pack lights, kept the same team there, and we're using Blood Bowl 2020 rules still?
Yeah, so this will be my last Blood Bowl 2020 tournament. They were still using the 2020 rules. The tournament was announced before the new edition, and they kept it.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I was running a tournament and a new edition came out. I've never been in that situation. The most I've ever had would have been like a new roster or something, a small tweak. But I don't know what I would have done. On one hand, you'd like to play the current rules. On the other hand, would that piss people off,
Yeah, I think this is really close. So this was a December tournament. The rules came out in November. So I think it's fair to say just stick with the old rules.
Yeah.
Now, if it's 6 months from now and someone's playing a 2020 tournament, now you're just being ridiculous.
Yeah, I get it. So you've got, at this point, last episode, we kind of talked a lot about it, but you've got the old Dwarf roster. So you're feeling good because it's your level of familiarity. You got your All My Friends Have Guard involved. You've got some things you're already used to, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
This wasn't a great tournament build for Dwarves. It was very low money. It was $10.50 and 4 skills, and you can only have 2 of the same skill. So I had 2 guard, and 2 Mighty Blow Slayers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
so very skimpy for a dwarf team, but still doable.
Yeah,
it's still a dwarf team.
You had a full team though, full positionals.
Yes.
Okay. So
which normally I wouldn't. That's not normally my style, but because of the low money,
you're like, let's get another all positionals to cover lack of skills, maybe. So I think it's, at least you got a couple in there and 2 of the same. So tell me about your games. How did it go?
So my first round was against a Tomb Kings team. I always have to pause there because I want to still call them Kimmery, but Tomb Kings, that's who I played.
Okay.
So that matchup always concerns me, not because I've done poorly against them. Usually I do pretty well, but it's always it could flip very easily. If he starts removing players, I'm in trouble. But if I can get through without losing any dwarves or losing too many dwarves, then I feel really good because that means I'm probably beating on skeletons. This game went pretty well. I was knocking over a ton of skeletons, but not removing any of them. So I actually made it through the entire game causing 0 casualties.
Wow.
With 2 Mighty Blow Slayers and hitting skeletons. It's pretty crazy.
They have fixed skull, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, probably helped a little bit.
Which came into play once or twice, but still, I should have removed something.
Yeah.
But it was a very close game. The tournament also had weather wizards. I forget what it's called. A wintry wizard guy.
Okay.
And he was able to do a couple spells, and you could do both spells once per game. So you weren't limited to a spell. So one of the spells, there was also a crazy weather table that had some pretty nuts results on it. But one of the spells was that you could re-roll weather, and you could add +1 or +2 to it.
The weather mage?
Yeah, but it only applied for 1 turn. So for your next turn, you can control the weathers, then it would go back. The other spell he had was much more effective and pretty cool. It hit the fireball size, so your 9 squares. You target a square and then everything around it. But you rolled the 4+ to hit them, but the players weren't knocked down, they were frozen. So they would lose their tackle zone, but they would gain block and stand firm.
Interesting.
So, and as soon as they activated, they would unfreeze.
Yeah.
So it's not like you could stop them from scoring, but it was good for if you were doing a cage dive. You could freeze everything and then just walk into the cage and hit the ball carrier. So it was very situationally awesome if you rolled 4+.
So everybody got a wizard?
Yeah, okay. Everyone got the same wizard, and everyone could do both those spells once per game. So in this game, as I was going down the field to score, I actually used I wish I can remember the name of it, the cool frozen thing. On my drive as I was going down to freeze his whole corner of a line and then move my cage through tackle zones around it. So not the way that I thought I would use the wizard, but it was super effective and put my scoring drive in a much better position, and I was able to score.
Nice, awesome.
Then in the second half, he drove down, and it looked like a sure thing that he was going to score. But I think he said he was a little rusty. I don't know how much he'd been away from the game. But he made a very not great decision. I was going to get 1 die on the ball carrier no matter what. He couldn't stop that. But then he had a Tomb Guardian block one of my runners and rolled both down. Neither of us had block. And he had a reroll but chose not to reroll it. So he was really depending on breaking my armor there, because he didn't, and then I just stood up and walked over, and now I had an assist, and it was 2 dice on the ball. Yeah,
that's a tough call. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's what rerolls are for. They're to cover up for, they're really a lot of times to cover up for, all right, I shouldn't need it because it's a 2 die block. However, you might, and you got to use it for that,
Yeah, I just think in this case, I think if you're going to throw the block, you have to know that you're rerolling it no matter what.
Yeah.
The other thing is to not block and just make me dodge out. And he did things that helped me, so I was able to stop a score and win the game.
My guess is probably saving his rerolls for things when he's on offense, maybe, or I don't know, or when he's got.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the right thing to do is to know going into that block that you're rolling 4 dice.
Yeah,
you're going to reroll that.
Yeah. So okay.
So that was game 1. I won. I was very happy. Again, because I knew how good the players in Texas were. So going in, I really had no expectations.
Nice to get a win under your belt right off the bat. Get the win, feel good that, hey, no matter what, I gotta win here. So that's
Yeah, I at least got one.
I'm the same way. I love getting that first round win because I don't know. There shouldn't be pressure, but it definitely, if you feel any pressure, that takes away a lot of it, in my opinion. Okay, how about next round?
So we went to lunch, had a good time, had some beers.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then we came back for round 2. So round 2, I was playing Corey, who I had gone out to lunch with, really cool guy. But he
not
was
a date.
playing,
Not a date though.
Not a date. It was a group thing.
Oh, okay. That's
There were other men there.
like going to prom as a group because
Yeah.
Were you guys
a whole gaggle of studs.
Were you guys in a limo?
No.
Okay.
Why you laugh?
I mean, it was just a shitty matchup. Like, it wasn't going to go well, and I think we both knew that from the beginning.
What team did he
have?
have?
It's nothing. He was playing Black Orcs, but for Stunty Cup. So he had just the Black Orc Goblins and a Troll. Against, dwarves that still have tackle. So it was a rough game, but I did what I was supposed to do and removed a bunch of goblins and won that game as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I've never played against a stunty Black Orc team like that. Seems difficult because you got to play goblins, but you don't have all the tricks.
Yeah, so Corey has won a Stunty Cup with all the other Stunty variants, the official Stunty teams, and then Lizard Men with only skinks and all that stuff. So this was his last one, and he won Stunty Cup at this tournament with them. So now he's checked off like every possible Stunty combination. He's won a Stunty Cup.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool badge that it may not be on the NAF site, but it's a pretty cool personal award to say, listen, I've won one of the hardest awards with all of the different variants. And that seems like the hardest one to do it with, too.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're find like a really friendly tournament rules pack, that's definitely a rough one.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so you got another win then?
I did, yeah. So 2 wins going into the last round.
Top table, right? Top table.
No. So I was not getting very many bonus points at all because I'm playing Dwarves, and they don't do that. And with 24 plus people there, I was in 6th place going into the last round. There were a lot of 2-0 teams, so I was on table 3.
I've bonus points, typically touchdowns, casualties, maybe difference, for and against, whatever. Some teams excel at that. Some teams do not. I don't know how I feel about it because I've done them in tournaments I've ran years ago, because how else do you separate? And then the other side would be strength of schedule and blah, blah, blah. It's tough, right?
Well, with 3-round tournaments becoming more popular, you have to have some kind of bonus system because you're going to end up with multiple undefeated teams,
right,
no matter what. So you have to find some way to separate them.
Yeah, I get it. It's just, I would say that it wouldn't have been bad had you have actually hurt some skeletons, and you might have had some casualties, and that would have helped your bonus points, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, I beat up some goblins. I think I had 5 casualties.
Yeah, that's great.
Game, so that made up for it.
Okay.
But both my games were 1-0 wins. So it was...
Which, I mean, a win's a win, right? Whether 5-0, 1-0, I get it. So, okay.
Yeah. So my last round, table 3, I was playing against an orc team, which is going to be interesting going forward, but in the 2020 and beyond and earlier, Dwarves Orcs was always a really rough matchup for me. The 4 strength, and then the 4 blitzers.
Because usually they would build up their black, although two skills. So what did they give their Black Orcs?
I don't remember his build, but I mean, traditionally a good orc build would be 2 guard, 2 block Black Orcs. But I think he gave some skills to his blitzers. And,
it's tough because I'm more of the blitzer type too, where I would give a blitzer something to help him. But then again, you're leaving the Black Orcs kind of naked. So yeah, 4 skills with no 2 duplicates. It really is a little limiting,
Yeah, but it was still a rough match. And going in, I don't like that matchup. Orcs have all the tools they need to beat me up, and I don't like it. So I knew it was going to be a hard game, and he was coaching very well. He's very good. And I was in crappy positions very early in the game doing like desperation moves. Mm-hmm. At one point, I stopped. I was like, I don't always play like this, I promise.
You mean like dodges and go for it and all that stuff?
Yeah, it was just very unusual tactics for me, but it was sort of working. It was keeping me in the game at least. But I felt like I had to tell him, like, this isn't how I always play. Like, I play Dwarves a lot. This is not. But that was basically the entire game. He scored in the first half. Or no. He scored. He kicked to me in the first half and got the ball and scored. And then was receiving in the second half. I was like, it's over. Like, I got nothing here. But the weather changed. Maybe it was always, I don't know. We had some funky weather and there was a frozen ball, so he needed 4+ to pick it up. So in the second half, I was like, I got nothing else. I'm going to like put like super pressure defense on him. And he did set up like towards the middle of the field a little bit. So I was like, I'm going to play like an elf. Like, we're just going to fly back into his backfield and put the pressure on him to roll that 4+. And it was very effective. Like, he never got the ball out of his backfield the entire half. And I was threatening to score late in the game, but it just couldn't quite do it. So he was able to hold on.
This was part of your, I don't normally play like this, the very aggressive, go for the ball approach.
It was super aggressive. And we talked about it after the game. He's like, well, once you started doing that, I was thinking about like throwing the ball, like picking up and throwing the ball to another blitzer. I was like, you're going to make a 4+ pickup and a 4+ catch? Like,
and he's like,
crazy.
well, if you're doing weird shit, I'll do weird shit.
Yeah, but he didn't need to. He was, but there was I was very happy that my silly defensive idea worked so well because he was feeling pressure the entire half.
It's good.
Just wasn't quite enough. Yeah. So he won.
Did you guys both reminisce about how both your teams are ruined?
No, we did not. No.
Not reminisce, more like, I guess, cry together. I don't like. No. Hey, so have you seen your new roster? Yeah. Have you seen yours? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm more open-minded to changes than I was in the past.
Okay. Oh, so from last episode to this episode, you're in much better spirits.
I mean, yeah, much better, but still not feeling great.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I agree. And it's takes some time getting used to. I think that as soon as you start to realize that a lot of teams had to adjust big time, it starts to make the pain a little bit less because it's like, okay, everyone's adjusting, whether it's to make a box equal a team, so the positionals are 2 or whatever it is. You just, find new ways to win, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, where I'm at now, I can look at it, and I've already started building a bunch of tournament rosters for any tournaments that have rule packs up. And there's plenty of them where I can look at my Dwarf roster and be like, I can play that. That'll work. But the problem I run into is if I build a different race roster, I'm like, that's much better.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, but I mean, there's also the idea that you are familiar with playing Dwarves. So I'm sure it evens out with your level of tactics and just situational things versus brand new team. That looks good on paper, right?
Yeah. So I'm ready to put it into practice and see how things go.
Okay. Sounds good. So all in all, pretty good day. 2 wins and a loss, right?
Yeah. And I had a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. Nice.
Definitely worth the trip. It was my favorite day of the week while I was down there. So
yeah. Well, it's not work. Did you have to work like conventions and stuff? Like, did you have to do all like booths and stuff?
No.
Or no?
I felt like I barely worked at all. So
nice. Awesome.
I was more just trapped in my hotel room doing nothing, which was horrible.
Awesome. Well, I think hopefully your manager's not watching.
He won't be.
No. Okay. Blood Bowl. I used to play that. It's like, Mighty Zug, is that you? It's like, I used to play that. That was always the thing, right? They walk by, Blood Bowl. All right. So on to my graveyard. As of recording, still fresh, which is always nice. Even though I took notes just in case. I played the Armada Season 3 Kickoff tournaments. Not a really fancy name, but it was a store tournament really designed to, is interesting. Like, just to kind of like take a few steps back. So in the Tampa area where I am now, great local store. They've got a league starting up next month and good people. But I don't know how many of them were like tournament / NAF related because, some of them didn't know what it was even. I'm like, okay. So I talked to James Luft and turns out he, is going to run that. I don't know if that was planned or what, but nice to know that, someone like him who knows everybody is running it. And as I suspected, there were a good mix of some locals and some people, and I say local, I mean local to that store, Tampa area, and then also some other Floridians as well. And that was nice because, you got to see people that I'm starting to become acquainted with in local scene, but then also people that I may have seen in passing at larger tournaments and that kind of thing. So, and obviously James, knows how to run tournaments very, very well, very organized. There were 20 coaches there at the tournaments, which I thought was surprising. I just thought that, I don't know if it was the impact of, or I should say the influence that James has, but nice to see a good amount of people that were there and good mix of different races too. There was, I think maybe 10 different races represented, a couple Chaos Dwarf, a couple Gnome teams, surprisingly. I was bringing my brand new Bretonnian team for the first time. I just bought them, nicely painted online, and I'm kind of doing a thing I've never done before, and that is create a narrative with my games. So basically, have real life things that happen in the game, but then turn those into sort of a narrative script afterwards to build the story for the team up. And I think it'd be kind of fun. I kind of got a little bit of the idea from you, Xtreme, with the Big Ten Peaks, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, adding that extra elements of mini role play, sort of like, let's have some fun with this. So for me, it was great to not only build up a backstory of my team. The Middenheim Thespians are my team. They're not actually Bretonnians. They are Imperial actors, and they are playing the roles of Bretonnians, much like medieval times. This would be, they all work at Bretonnian times, a dinner and sport experience. And so their coach is actually their acting coach. And the idea is they have to be so good at the game of Blood Bowl because they're playing the role of Blood Bowl players. And when you're that good as an actor, obviously you can pull it off. So that would be the hope, is that they could, finally head back to Middenheim and have people appreciate what they do. Because they didn't like the actors there, And so they thought, what, if we can spill some blood on the pitch, I think we can make this work. So that's my hope, is that as this team builds on in tournaments, we create a fun little backstory there, and makes it also more enjoyable for me as well. So Armada Games was the location in Tampa, and with my roster, it was a big money tournament. I think 1.2 million is big to me. Some teams eat that money up pretty quickly. As I put together my first Bretonnian roster, and I realized, okay, I'm pretty short. Like I got everything I wanted, and I was down like 200,000 gold pieces. I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't thinking about a star player, but I was like, sure, let's give it a try. And I was looking around. I'm like, okay, Skrorg Snowpelt would be a good complement because, one, there's a good chance no one else is going to have them. So Highlander rule, that kind of thing. Two, you won't get you're taking someone to be your ball carrier. Because, people make comments with Griff and Hackflem, that kind of thing. And I'm like, you know what? Let's add some muscle to the line there. He's pretty great because he's got block, claws, and mighty blow. Juggernaut never really came into play at all. And his ability allows you to get a reroll because of casualty. They happened once, but I didn't even get to reuse the reroll. So that wasn't really a factor. But I thought he was really good. I don't think he was overpowered by any means. But block and claw and mighty blow is nice, to have that on there. So we've got Skrorg. We've got 2 Grail Knights. I gave one of them guard and one of them dodge as a secondary skill. And I've got 2 catchers. I gave dodge to, and I have 1 thrower that I gave leader to. So I had 3 rerolls plus the leader reroll. And I'll tell you what, the unsung heroes, the squires with wrestle, oh my God, it was great. It was so awesome to just basically have people. I think a lot of times people will take their better hitters, their blitzer blocker types, and they're like, I'm just going to beat up some linemen. They don't have skills. I've got skills. And meanwhile, we're just all on the ground, boom, boom, boom. And it was really good. I don't think the team is overpowered as a whole. I just think because the linemen are so versatile with what they can do, they actually have a purpose. And I didn't really have any plans with the squires. I didn't really say, they're going to do, it was more of just they're going to do what they do. And there was enough times where people were down, where it was like, okay, we're going to go down. I'm going to get up next turn. You're still going to be down, you know? So I thought it was really cool. Wrestle defensively. You know, I don't think I ever really did it too often offensively, but wrestle defensively worked really well. First game, played against Jason Gotkowski Jr. I know his dad. He was my first opponent when I first, met the group there. Probably like maybe 14, 15. Smart kid, awesome to play against. I already knew he was a good sport just because I met him when I played his dad that first time. He had a Nurgle team. I don't think I was trying to look up like names because I'm going to add these all to my story. And I'll tell you what, Xtreme, we talked about this in the past, side note, but man, teams with no names, I like, oh, come on. So
Yeah. I hate it when I see an opponent's roster and there's no name there. And it's kind of like 50-50. Sometimes I'll ask, because when I start my game, I'm writing down my notes,
Yeah.
and I keep track of all of my opponent's team names. So I'll usually ask, like, hey, what's your team name? But if they come up or don't say anything, then I'll make one up for them. I'm like, okay, that's your team name.
I'm going to be making things up. I'm going to make up player names. I'm going to make up team names. It is what it is, Pretty good game. It was Nurgle. And, Nurgle got a nice increase. That pick me up is really good. That made a big difference in the game. He had Bile Rot as his star, and Skrorg and Bile Rot were kind of just pushing each other back and forth. There wasn't a lot of action going on. The Rot spawn sometimes got involved too. He was just a good sort of not assist, but with pick me up and everything, really good, just thing to have in the middle. I realized that I'm gonna have to try something. Just almost like you, Xtreme, just try some risky things because it was looking like it might have been like a 0-0 kind of game there. And so I had one of my catchers, and that's Leonard Quiggins, which according to my fluff, he's already disappointed that he got second billing in the last couple performances. He used to be the top star, and now he's relegated to a supporting actor. So he definitely has something to prove now that the Grail Knights have come in and taken over. So Quiggins jumped in. He leapt in. I don't think I've ever done a jump over prone opponent, except I did it in Dungeon Bowl because you have to sometimes when the corridor is blocked. But in actual Blood Bowl, every time I thought, ooh, I'm going to try it, I looked, I'm like, oh, it was -2. I'm like, I'm going to do it. It was one, I was leaping into a tackle zone to pick up the ball. And I said leaping, but you know what I mean, jumping into a tackle zone to pick up the ball. So it was -1. Did it on a 4+. Picked up the ball on a 4+, and then dodged out. And that was one of those moments where it was like, okay, this is cool. And I'll tell you, playing a team Bretonnian's got a lot of cool tricks, I'll talk about the steady footing in a second because that was pretty helpful. But, they're essentially like a human team. And the idea is human teams can do a little bit of everything, right? So I think I'm going to try to play the game with some level of risky moves. I'm going to do some weird things. Almost elf, like you said, with Dwarf. Because I think that there's moments where you got to do it. You got a thrower, you got a catcher. Why not throw? You got people that can do things. I think playing Dwarf and Chaos Dwarf for a long time, it also maybe be a little less risky with things I do, more safe. And I'm like, let's have some fun and see what happens. So I jumped in there, got the ball, was able to score. Ended up winning that 1-0. Much like you, having a win under your belt feels good. Nice to do that. Had a lunch break, and as I came back, I didn't realize that. I thought James said be back at 3:30, and it was 3:15. So I felt bad. I was kind of late. And have you heard of this house rule people use? If you're late to your game, they let the person waiting there pick who receives. Or have you heard of that?
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever heard of that is when James runs tournaments, but I don't dislike it.
No, I was completely. I was apologizing 3-4 times. The good news is in that second game, by the way, I played against Ryan M, and he had Necromantic, the Undead Hollywood team, which I may reword that. Hollywood needs to be Blood Bowl-fied. You know what I mean? Holly Weird, maybe. I don't know. We actually finished way early, so that made me feel good. That even though I was late, no problem with him choosing. Didn't make a difference to me at all. But as long as we got to finish early, it made me feel a little bit better there. The werewolves were tough to deal with. He also had Skrull half height. Is that the undead dwarf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He could not pick up the ball the first 3 turns. And I kept thinking like, in hindsight, secure the ball, but he was trying to pass. And I think 3 turns in a row he failed. Turns 1, 2, and 3. The funny thing is, as disgruntled as he was with all of that, he ended up scoring at the end of the first half. So it was like a full 8-turn grind approach. But I kept joking, I'm like, all part of your plan, right? He's like, oh yeah, I definitely planned all that he couldn't. So he, I would say he didn't dominate the first half, but he was able to successfully score and not give me much opportunity whatsoever. This was a big casualty game. He ended up having 4 casualties. I had 3. It was one of those things where just dice were hot on both sides. Oh, I didn't mention earlier, I did take 3 prayers of Nuffle. This is something that I don't know if this is ever going to be changed or what, but they're a bargain at 10,000.
Yeah, I don't think many tournaments are going to allow them.
Yeah. Well, we were like kicking around some ideas. One guy said, an easy fix would be no rerolls. So that way, if you hit the same one you already have. So on the 16, the D16, I think 4 of them are league related, like star player point related. So if you think about that, so if a quarter of the prayers are worthless and you're rolling on 3 of them, you might get one of those. And if you eliminate the reroll on a doubles, you might end up getting several that don't do anything. However, I don't remember which games had which, but I had one game where my guard guy had pro. He's a professional. It was this game actually. He had pro, so pro guard was nice. I had my first game, my blodger had mighty blow because it was a free primary skill. There was, there's some good things on the prayers there for sure.
Yeah, I just think it's too good for the price. Yeah. So I think it's going to be banned in most tournaments.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have a problem either way. You can increase the money if you need to, whatever it is. A ban would be easiest to do, or limit 1, or I don't know, whatever. But we had them in this one. A lot of people had them. The prayer that we had also was when you argue the call, you can argue on a 5 or 6 instead of 6. Now, playing Bretonians, I was not planning on following, obviously the stage show of these Imperial actors, we're not going to follow. But however, I did also get the ref on a kickoff. So I had a bribe and I had to argue the call 5 and 6. So one of the squires, when the ref wasn't looking, a very dastardly fellow named Kurt Backdrop Vogel, he's in charge of the scene and sets and all that kind of stuff. He's like, you know what, I'm going to put the boot in here. So it was kind of nice to be able to get that in there. I think he did knock somebody out with that one. And I'll tell you what, second game in a row, one of my catchers, Mr. Leonard Quiggins, he caught a bouncing ball. It was one of those boom, 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 boom. It would land on a prone guy. Then it would land on a ghost who had no hands, bouncing all around. It landed on him. Catch skill. I had to verify, can you use catch on a bouncing ball when it's not your turn? And James said, yeah, catch is always on. I'm like, okay. So I rolled a 5 first. That wasn't enough. Then I rolled a 6. And I caught the ball bouncing all around with that guy with the catch skill. And I truly realized how great the catch skill is. In my head, I was thinking, well, only if you give him the ball. It's only good if you hand out for pay. I'm like, no, you get a catch guy in one of those kind of scrums, he might end up with it. So 2 chances at a 6, and I was able to get that. So second game in a row that one of those catchers got the ball. Ended up being a 1-1 tie. Really good game. Final game got to be matched up with an NAF legend, Jim Lanier, Old Man Monkey. Xtreme, he was one of the originals, like writing the charter of the NAF back in the day, right?
Yeah, so the story that he likes to tell a lot, he's upset about his NAF number because he was supposed to be NAF number 3. But they had to resort the database for NAF numbers or something, and he ended up with a 4-digit number, I believe. Which,
hey, in modern day, 4 digits, pretty damn good, That'll get you asked out to lunch. You got a 4-digit NAF. But yeah, one of the originals. He is, talk about an ambassador to the game. He's gone to multiple World Cups. He's gone to, Spain and Amsterdam. He's done it all. Definitely a legend. This is our first time we ever played. I've ran into him at Chaos Cups before, talking, but I was super excited. He was happy to play me, and we chatted a bit too much, and I kind of knew we were going to run out of time a little bit. Surprisingly, we were up to speed in the first half. Like when they say, you should be at about halfway now, we were actually doing better than we thought. But actually, as we were joking, we were laughing, telling stories the entire time, later in the game, we actually were both like, okay. And it was all kind of weird because it was such a casual game, and it totally was. But there was a couple moments where like, what are we going to do? And they felt like, 7-8 minute turns towards the end there. He had Skaven, and I asked him like, so how you dealing with I didn't mention, this is Blood Bowl 2025 rules, season 3. I mean, that's the name of the tournament, and there was no special rules to the tournament. I didn't mention that either. Right out of the book, match play. The one thing I will note, and before I get into this game, just from a roster building standpoint, 1.2 million tiers in the game. So you had tier 1, 6 points, tier 2, 8, I think 4 or whatever. Star players take 2, megas are 4. There was mention by the store owner initially, because he was going to run the tournament, I think before Jane, I'm not really sure, but like elite skills and that thing in the book. There's some question as far as like 4 elite skills total or 4 of a certain elite skill. I think it's supposed to be 4 of the skill. So up to 4 dodges, up to 4 blocks, up to 4 mighty blow, up to 4 guard. But I think there was talk of 4 elite skills total. So I built my roster for that just in case. And I wasn't like, it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? So I took a secondary on a Grail Knight. That was dodge. That's 1. I took 2 dodges on my catchers. So that's up to 3. And then I took guard on my other Grail Knight. So that's 4. And then my Knight Thrower had leader, not an elite skill. So that way I was good no matter what. But I think eventually it's going to be a little more clarified to be 4 of that type of skill. So I was going through with Jim, Old Man Monkey, about, Skaven, the changes and all that. He's like, yeah, Blitzers got better, but 2 gutter runners. And, he likes playing Skaven. He likes the team. And he's, pretty good with them. He gave both his gutter runners block, and he gave his rat ogre block. And that was it, because he took Hackflem on his team. And I was a little worried because I've used Hackflem before, back when he was allowed on Chaos Dwarf, and I knew how amazing he could be. So that was his 3rd gutter runner, but better. Right at the beginning of the game, Rat Ogre rolls a 1, and is the Rat Ogre, is he biting somebody or is he hitting them? What does he do? Like,
I think he's hitting them,
okay,
attacking them.
For some reason, we said he bit him. I don't know why we said that.
Fine. I mean, you could bite in a fight.
So he knocked out Hackflem, and he was out the entire game until the last drive. So I basically had an amazing Hackflem-less game, all thanks to the Rat Ogre rolling a 1 on his first action. And I don't know if he would have put him next to him initially, but that was a big help for me. It was, as expected, Skaven are high scoring. Jim ended up winning the most touchdowns, best offense award there. Got my first pass of the day, so that was nice. He was up 2-1, and I was going for a chance to tie it up. So I had my Knight Thrower, Rudolph Q Card Hessler, pass to the other catcher. And it was a pick up and pass, short pass, needed the pass skill for it to work. And then the catch was in a tackle zone, and the catchers and throwers have Nerves of Steel. So nice to be able to use that. So I was able to catch it in a tackle zone, no modifiers, dodge out. Everything's 3+. Everything's going to be 3+. There's always room for failure. So if I have my rerolls, I have the dodge rerolls, I have the catch rerolls, I have the pass rerolls. It kind of all evens out, and I did have a good amount of fails, but that one actually worked out really well. I was able to score. I said, hey, let's keep going, because we knew we were short on time at that point. I think he had 3 turns left for him to try to get the 3-2 win. I kicked to him, and we were playing as fast as we could. Hackflem came back, so he was in that one. He got the ball. I brought back my Blodging Grail Knight, Lord Chip Douglas, who was there, who was kind of didn't really do as much as I wanted to throughout. I thought he was going to be like the main guy of the whole tournament, but for me, but he was also knocked out early on. So I got him back. He got Hackflem back. And as we went on, they called time, and he had a chance. I think if we played the full game out, he would have had to make some rolls. I think he was out of re-rolls. It would have been tough, but he, could have had a good chance at getting the 3-2 win. But as it was, we made it through 6 turns, and we had to call it. So it was a 2-2 tie. So overall, I was happy with my performance. I got 1 win, 2 ties. So, hey, still undefeated. The winner of the tournament was Austin Williams. I think it was his first ever tournament. So pretty cool that a tournament with a lot, they were veterans there. There was like, guys from, you see from Chaos Cup, some really good coaches there. And there's a handful of newer coaches, but Austin Williams won. He won with Nurgle.
Nice.
Nurgle won that one, which is great. My first tournament with Bretonians, first games with them, first everything with them. I'm going to continue using them as my tournament team, but had a blast. I hope to do many more tournaments in the Florida area. I know that team will be seen at the upcoming tournaments in April, I think in Ocala, maybe a few others. So yeah, it was a great time.
Nice.
All right. Any other tournaments in the graveyard?
I don't think so.
Okay. Shall we go around the old world?
Why not? Let's do it.
We're going to go around the old world.
You are tuned into the Zlurpcast with the dirty player and the sneaky get.
Brought to you by Nurgle King. Your decay right away at Nurgle King now.
Around the old world.
Around the old world. Xtreme, the 40 miners have a plan for 2026. Is one of their stops Radical Skills, or will this be a different team?
So they will be making a stop not at Radical Skills beforehand.
Okay.
The New Year's tournament, I'm taking the 40 miners to. Radical Skills, I'll be playing something new.
Okay, Radical. Oh, so that's right. New Year's tournament is in New York, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So what? Tell me about what that one is going to be, because the 40 miners, they need to expand, right? They're hitting different states. They've been to several states, and they've not been to New York yet, correct?
They have not. No, I've never played in New York. And I'm going. The New Year's Bash is a 2-person team event, so I'm going to be going up there with Sean Cowley, House Blackfire, who might possibly be joining us on the next Zlurpcast to talk about their experience there. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to go up. I'm going to bring the 40 miners, and he's going to bring Wood Elves, and we're actually submitting our rosters as soon as I get done recording here.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. So the build for that you get is a very generous build. You get a lot of money and a lot of skills. So it's like a higher TV type tournament. So each person gets between 1,200 and 1,300 to spend on their team. So you have to spend 1,200, and then there's that extra 100K that you share between the two.
Man, are you buying skills with that money or no?
No, just players and stuff. Sean and I each built our rosters, and he's like, well, I'm right at 1,250, so you can use whatever's left. And I was like, well, I'm right at 1,245, so I think we're good. Like, we're right in the middle.
You want to try for half a prayer? Wow, that's a lot of money there. Do you think it's going to be like an all-star game there?
I think so. And the other thing is they're very generous with secondary skills.
Okay.
So if you're a lower tier team like Dwarves are in this tournament, you get 2 secondary skills. Like, you don't have to pay extra for them. You just get, I think, 4 primary and 2 secondary.
Okay, so you have 6 skills, and 2 of them can automatically be secondary.
Right, yeah. So I get 2 guards on my linemen, and it feels like old Dwarves again.
Yeah.
Other than my blitzers being agility.
This tournament made Dwarves tier 2?
I think they're tier 3.
Tier 3, wow.
Tournament. I think tier 2 is probably where they belong. This one, they're a little bit low, probably.
You know what's weird? I mean, if I was running a tournament now, and I'm not, thankfully, but I think there'd be too many complaints if I switched up the tiers. I would probably go out of the book until something official, only because I don't want to have to justify. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And if people complain, you could be like, well, complain to GW.
Right, exactly, right, yeah. But, I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that Dwarves are getting a bonus there. But, yeah, it's nice, were you going to take Dwarves no matter what, or you just realized I could make this happen?
So my plan going forward, if I'm going to a new state for the first time, I'm playing Dwarves no matter what.
Nice.
Or if there's some other reason, like a Moracle Cup, I'm going to a Moracle Cup, no matter what, I'm playing Dwarves there, because it's kind of like a special event that I want the 40 miners to have in their history. Other than that, any other tournament, I'm going to sit down and build dwarf rosters, and if there's one that I don't hate, I'm going to play dwarves.
Yeah.
But if I just can't build one that I like, I'm going to play something else.
Okay.
I'm not going to torture myself.
Right, exactly. And you got plans, you got a bunch of other teams, so you can, figure something out there. So that's so it's a team tournament, and it's been a while. I mean, team tournaments we did a couple years ago. Was it the wrestling one we did?
Yeah, we did tag team themed wrestling tournaments.
Yeah. It's been a while. You haven't been in a team tournament in a while, right?
But I never played in any of those. I always ran those. So this will be my first official team tournament that I've played in.
Nice. Okay.
But then later in the year, a Oracle Cup is going to be a much bigger
team,
bigger deal.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, so I'm excited. The roster, though, I look at it as I'm given so much in this roster. This is not going to be a very good example of 2025 rules because, like, you gave me everything I could want and more.
Yeah.
So I might get just a little bit of hint of what things are going to be, but this isn't a very good. I can't take my experience from this and say, oh, this will be 2025.
Right, because
it's going to be great.
There's so much flexibility with the skills and the money and all of that it's hard to judge it. This is really just build them how you want to build them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think we both have very strong rosters, and hanging out with Sean all weekend and playing on his team is going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, good luck. Hope it works out.
I think there's 34 people signed up already, so it's going to be a good turnout too.
Okay. That is a lot. Yeah. You've got another tournament coming up as well, right?
Yeah. So I think the week after that, what is the exact date? January 7th? 10th? I don't know.
Whatever.
The second week of January in Indy is going to be Radical Skills, which will be the first, I think, HOTS tournament. So we're starting our own tournament series in Indiana, the Hoosier Open Tournament Series. And this will be one of the early tournaments in that, if not the first. And this is run by Shooty, and his whole theme for this one is making you play, or strongly encouraging you to play with the skills that aren't very good or aren't taken as much. So it's like the radical skills.
Like Fumble Rooski?
Yeah. So all the skills are tiered, and you have points for each of those. So you have a point total you can spend. So if you just want like a couple good skills, you can, or you can get like a whole handful of subpar skills. So the idea is that
you're gonna see skills you're never normally gonna see, basically.
Correct. Yeah. Last year it was a lot of fun, and he's kind of tweaked some. So last year, one of the things that no one saw happening, but multiple people showed up with like a team full of foul appearance. So now he's like capped how many times you can take a skill, so you can't do like across the board. And he's having to adjust with the new edition without any actual tabletop experience yet, just kind of theory experience. But it's going to be a good time. I don't know how many people we're expecting, a dozen or so, but it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
I hope it's a radical time. Well, around the old world, Xtreme, you've got some big plans. I'm going to take a look at the old tournament calendar. I know NAF has the tournament section on there. There's Discords and all that, because I want to start making my way around this big old state of Florida. So we'll be talking to Sean hopefully next month.
Yeah, should be good.
Xtreme, I want to hear a little bit about the Big Ten Peaks fluff-related project you have.
Brought to you by McMurdy's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loading it.
You are tuned into the Zlurpcast
with Xtreme and Jonny P. Lodging to a speaker near you.
That's what we are.
Inside the dugout.
Compadres forever. For a lifetime.
Inside the dugout. Xtreme inside the dugouts. This is where we get into our own projects, our own teams, whatever we're working on, something that's making the game, this hobby, more enjoyable. I don't know if everyone has had a chance to see this, if all of Zlurp Nation has seen this in the Discord, but you have an entire world built up, modeled after the Big Ten NCAA, the Big Ten Peaks. We're about 5 weeks into this storyline, but Xtreme, in your head, you've got 10 years worth built up. You're like the George R.R. Martin. I've got all these stories. I just got to write them now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's been my imaginary little Blood Bowl world for several years now. This is the first time that it's like organized and put out there for other people to see.
So what is is the project basically you want to create a story, a weekly story driven by newsletters that people can follow along with these teams?
Yeah, so it's not like super detailed play-by-play type stuff for games. It's more of like general, what you would see when people used to read the newspaper. When you would open up the sports page, you would have like one feature article, and then the other ones you just get like little blurbs about what happened in the game. So that's the idea, and you could follow along with the league. The league is 10 teams. They're all from different mountain peaks in the Big Ten Peaks mountain range.
You drew a map and everything.
Yeah, so the map, if you look at it closely, might correlate with the Big Ten schools and where they are in our real world. But the
Which
Big
is also
Ten,
kind of funny because the Big Ten in the real world isn't necessarily all in like, what would make sense Midwest
Right.
either. So it's kind of like you're just following along.
Yeah, so some of it is, so the idea, they're all dwarves. There's all dwarven holds, so it's all dwarf teams playing dwarf teams, which, some people may not like, and that's fine. But you just look at it as two Blood Bowl team, or as a league of Blood Bowl teams if you want. It's not necessarily.
No, I think if you don't like dwarves, I don't want you to read this. It's not for you.
But the original idea, much like the original idea for Blood Bowl, was that these holds were fighting and battling in wars and stuff, and then came to an agreement at one point in time, like, all this is doing is killing all of us. Maybe we should settle our differences on the pitch. So a Big Ten Peaks was formed. So they play in these leagues, and the existence of NAF tournaments and stuff is there, but that's not part of the league. The league is just the 10 teams playing each other. So some of the Big Ten Peaks franchises have branched out and during the off-season go out and play in tournaments. Some don't. So, yeah, that's it.
I think it's kind of cool. You've got basically, all the teams represented, but they're Blood Bowl versions. The instead of the Illini, it's the Fight and Die. You've got the Smash-a-Tons instead of the Spartans. You've got these teams that, there is the real life correlation, but you've also created your own sort of theme with them. Some of them are more dirty trick oriented. Some of them are more, you've got like, they each have their own little quirk, right?
Yeah, and it's not, because it's just this fictional story type thing, it's not assigned, or it's not limited by the rules of Blood Bowl. So, like, the Wildcats have a Killdozer from the old days, and Fight and Die have multiple weapons that they bring to the game, not just the one Death Roller. So there's no limitations because it's all fictional. So whatever's more amusing to me, I'd throw in there.
Yeah, I think it's great. You can follow along. You can read. You every Friday you come out with the End Zone Echo. The name of it.
End Zone Echo. Yeah, on Friday. And I just realized as we're talking about this, I didn't post on Facebook. But the Discord's the best place to do it. I'm trying to get like more interaction there. We do like polls for who you think's going to win. Every Friday, the End Zone Echo is posted, and I've been posting it on the 40 Miners Facebook page as well, which I should get back to. And I've also thought about maybe putting up like a super simple website that just has links to all the old ones, so you can just go through and click on them. But
I think it shouldn't be super simple. I think it should be super complicated. I think it should be like you've got an interactive map and you can zoom in on the different peaks and you see like people like in the little peaks like waving, like you can zoom really, and then it's like, hey, and then like you zoom in, you might see like a flag, like a 40 Miners flag on someone's lawn. If you like zoom in, like keep scrolling all the way in, and then you scroll even further and you get like inside their brain, you go inside like their eyeball. Let's start with that. We'll start with that.
Well, I mean, the End Zone Echo, part of my idea too is make it a quick read. I'm not asking people to read a bunch, so it's usually 3 pages. And one page is basically a giant standings page. So it's really like 2.5, and it's a pretty quick read. But there's like off-field stories that are going on too, so it's kind of like a cool little. I enjoy it.
Extra drama involved, things that are going on. There's grudges. There's people catching each other, and there's just it's a fun kind of that. If you like the Blood Bowl fluff side of it all, if you like when you get a new rule book and you want to see kind of like the different leagues that were created and you like kind of the background, it's worth it for that. So check that out. The Zlurpcast Discord is the best place to see that. and get all of the issues every week. Every Friday is a new one out there. And you can see who is sort of the team of the week, the player of the week, who's fighting for the Heave Slam Award, much like a Heisman Trophy Award. So very cool. I like this project. I think it's fun that, you're giving people something, because we don't really get enough of this. We really only get on the tabletop stories. We get league, we get tournament. We don't always get a lot of that fluff related things. I don't think there's a lot of fan fiction out there for the game,
Yeah, and this isn't super. I'm not writing a novel here. It's just these short little newsletters, so it's not anything super involved. But it's fun for me, and I'm enjoying it. This is the first time of, this fictional league that's existed in my head for, a decade now. It's the first time that it feels more real because it's organized and put out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So check it out. Big Ten Peaks. Xtreme, I want to bring back one old segment, if you don't mind. I'm going to bring back Good Dwarf, Bad Dwarf. And we're going to talk about star players, because I hate them. I hate them. So can we do that? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Cue up the music.
Brought to you by Bloodwiser, the king of fears. You are tuned into the Zlurpcast, blodging to a speaker near you.
Good dwarf.
Bad dwarf.
Whoa, what is that intro? Haven't heard this in a long time. Good Dwarf, Bad Dwarf, one of our old-timey segments that we would pick a side. We would say, listen, I am for this, I am against this, and we would argue for that. And Xtreme, for a while now, I've been very anti-star player. And are you for, you like seeing star players at tournaments? Just so I'm clear on this.
I don't, no. I don't like star players in tournaments necessarily. Sometimes I think they're fine. There's situations where they're okay, but in general, I'd rather them be gone.
Okay. I'm going to take the opposing viewpoint here. Even though I've said on record on this show, I hate star players, I don't want to see them in tournaments, ban them all. I'm going to take the opposing viewpoint here. And the reason why the reason why I'm now siding with the star players at tournaments viewpoint is, one, we're getting closer to the point where the amount of skills you lose isn't worth the star player. So in my third game against Old Man Monkey, he said at the end of the game, I shouldn't have taken Hackflum. Now, granted, he was out of the game the whole time, but he even said for the whole tournament, he was talking about for the tournament, I shouldn't have taken him because he didn't really do as much as I wanted, and it would have been nice to have other skills on players. So he sacrificed 4 star player points skill points to take Hackflum there. That was interesting to me because I'm thinking Hackflum is like, oh my God, he's a game changer. That's why he's a mega star. And I'm like, okay. So what I'm seeing is people are having to make big sacrifices. A couple things have happened in the new edition. One, we've had a lot more correlation between stars and the appropriate team they play for, what league they're in, races matching, all that kind of stuff. So there's not everybody could take everybody is what it felt like before. 2, there is a sacrifice there. And 3, if you're looking at the tiers and how much you give, it's like, I don't know if it's worth it. So with that said, one tournament in, this is my sample size so far. It's only one tournament in of Blood Bowl 2025 rules. I've seen a good mix of star players. So yesterday I went up against Bilerot. I went up against Skrull Half Height, and I went up against Hackflum Scuttlespike. And I took Skrorg Snowpelt. So I've had games with 4 star players involved. None of them had a big impact on any of the games. None of them. Skrorg did not have a big impact on any of my games. Should have. He got a couple knockouts, maybe a casualty here and there, and then the guys I played against. So I'm like, this is interesting. So now I've had there's 4 star players involved in this tournament games that I played in, and it didn't really make a big difference that I could tell. So with all that said, I'm okay with seeing star players again in Blood Bowl tournaments. Xtreme, what's your viewpoint?
Well, first let me comment on your experience here, because I don't have any experience, but if you feel like they didn't have a big impact on the game, then if they weren't there as an option, it wouldn't affect anything either.
Okay, so you're right. Good point. if I couldn't have taken, and I'll talk to my roster then. So I mentioned earlier, 1.2 million. I could get all the positionals. And I only took one thrower, but I wanted 12 because you had to have 11 players before the star. That's the thing, right? So 11 players anyway with my rerolls. If I couldn't have taken a star player, I probably would have taken a wizard. I don't think, is there something better in the 200 plus K realm that would be where, I don't know. Probably a wizard.
Yeah. So I don't want wizards in tournaments either. So
well, I think I guess I'll throw another variable in. So I said, didn't make a difference, blah blah blah, all that stuff. The tiers and the high money lends itself to star players. So if this was a million tournament, sure, wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Yeah, I would just rather, I don't know. When I sit down to build a team, I don't like the idea of building around a player. I like building an entire team that's going to function on its own, or building my own stars, if that's an option, rather than just hiring whatever's there. And the same for like playing against them. I don't want to be like, okay, well, my only goal in this game is to target that one player and get him out of here. Like, I hate that. So yeah, I don't like stars.
I'm taking the viewpoint of being for them. However, I will, much like in politics, we want people to listen to both sides, extend, whatever, across the aisle, whatever the thing is. I don't like building around a player either. I like stars as an afterthought because I got extra money and they're not going to negatively impact the game. What I saw yesterday, again, sample size, one tournament, it didn't matter.
Yeah, and the combination that you mentioned of tournament rules packs, making you sacrifice skills, and the teams that stars can play for now being better are all improvements going in the right direction. But if I had my say, it would just be no stars.
Yeah. Well, I am playing the role of someone who loves star players right now. So I will say I may change this viewpoint and go back, like a flip-flopper in politics. You're a flip-flopper. And all I'm saying is, until I'm going in with a fresh start, not necessarily new year, but just even yesterday with season 3, I have a newfound interest in the game. I have a newfound excitement in the game. I have a new local gaming group. I have a new local store. I have a lot of new stuff. So I'm trying to look at things a little more objectively. Until I get soured on star players and get fucking pissed off because Griff Oberwald is running all around, I'm going to say it's okay.
So another point, so you mentioned you have to sacrifice skills to take them, and then you like taking stars as an afterthought. Do you factor in how many skills you lose on whether it's actually worth taking them or taking some sideline stuff? So, for example, you took Skrorg, or however the...
Yeah, Skrorg. I by the way, side note, my Skrorg, fluff-wise, my Skrorg is Skrorg to take snow pelts, because once he hits somebody, he feels like, can I do that one again? Like can I recut that? Because he's now a trained actor. By the way, we shaved him. He no longer has the white fur. He's shaved. He's tan, like a George Hamilton kind of tan. He's full on embraced the actor role of the Thespians. So, yeah.
So I know a lot of tournaments going forward, maybe not a lot. I've seen tournaments already listing him as a megastar. Oh, so okay. If you were going to pay that level of skills for him, would you have still taken him?
If the money's there, yeah. But if not, no. It's
So you would sacrifice skills on your other players in order to take him?
So I already knew. So going in, Bretonians are tier 2. So I'm already going to get more skills than a tier 1 team. I probably won't be skilling up my squires. I think having them have wrestle is good enough, and having them have low armor means that if I give one of them something good, he's probably going to, chances are something's going to happen. So with that said, if I'm only planning on giving skills to my knights, I don't need that many of them. And if I only take one thrower, that's only 5 players I need to get skills on. Depending on how bad the sacrifice is, I may do it. But I would not be bent out of shape. As some teams that with stars are like, I got to take this way. I built it around this guy. I didn't build my team around Skrorg. He's 250? 270 maybe. I just had a lot of money. I don't know what else to say. I had a lot of money left over. And I'm not taking bribes because I'm not fouling really with Bretonnians. So that's a big chunk of money that somebody else could have spent for that. So to answer your question, I might still take them, but if that means no skills on anybody else or virtually no skills, then no, forget it. Because Skrorg's not going to win games for me. If I had a megastar, like a Griff or a Hackflem, they can win games on their own. The game is based on touchdowns. It's not based on casualties. So if the stars can win the game, that's a big reason to sacrifice. I don't really plan on doing that. I might try Griff just as a goof one day for storyline purposes, because I think it'd be hilarious to, have him join the acting troupe here. But from a game standpoint, I don't love a bashy star player enough to sacrifice everything. So no, I would say no to answer your question.
Well, so another argument I would make, since you're leaning into the narrative side of things, which I love, obviously, I feel like taking a star limits that. And for example, if you take Griff, there's a fun story there, but then that's taking away from Chip's possibilities of taking over the offense and being you're kind of sacrificing your own story to play with someone else's toy. And
Good question. So you'll see in the next in the update, I'm going to have a tournament update for the Middenheim Thespians coming out soon, that the other thrower, what happened to him, why he wasn't in the game, and why the team sought out Skrorg to train him as an actor. So as part of the storyline was not having a player in the game. As far as what happens in the game, I look at it like this. There's always going to be a story to tell, no matter what. Much like the Big Ten Peaks, there's always a story to tell. The idea of an acting troupe traveling from town to town in the old world, coming across various personalities at local taverns and different areas, there's going to be some stories, and stars might make their way. Hey, if you got the coin and we want to see if they can make it on the stage, the grandest stage of all, the Blood Bowl pitch, what better stage than that? Then there might be a story to tell. So with all that said, Xtreme, I'm not basing my Bretonnian storyline on stars. I'm not basing my Bretonnian tournament performance on stars. But if the opportunity presents itself for narrative and for gameplay, I may give it a try. But overall, wouldn't bother me one way. So far, so good. With the new rules, third season, I have not seen stars that have taken over the game yet.
That's good.
Yet.
And I don't have any experience to talk of yet, so I will not.
So you are talking out your ass again.
No, I'm choosing not to talk out of my ass.
Okay, well, I thought I heard the ass.
No, no ass.
I thought I heard ass.
Why you laugh?
Why you laugh? All right. Well, fun debates. Fun debates, Xtreme. I think it's time to wrap this thing up. You're going to hear that outro music that you love. If you like these songs, you want to hear the full version, there's a playlist out there on Spotify. Check it out. Zlurpcast the music. Zlurpcast everywhere on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, wherever. Check us out on Discord. Check out the Facebook group, Zlurp Nation. For everything you want, Zlurpcast, go to bloodbowlpodcast.com. Hey, every time I have another website, some hacker takes it over, so now I got the big one. This is the one that GW is going to pay us millions for, so I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. Go to charlievictorproducts.com for the best Blood Bowl accessories you can get. I'll tell you what, people saw my skill bands. They were using the little rubber bands, most people, the little ones. And they're like, wow, those are cool. I'm like, yeah, man, I know they're cool. That's why I got them. charlievictorproducts.com. You get skill bands. Tell you what I'm leaning into now, Xtreme, is the multi-skill, like more than one skill on the band. So for my Grail Knight that was a blodger, I could have put a dodge band on him, but then I didn't want someone to think he was just a catcher or vice versa. You know what I mean? Even though I gave him dodge, I gave a catcher dodge, I wanted him to stand out even more as the positional. So I put a blodge, block and dodge. It was a black one on there that had the combo. So that's another thing that Charlie Victor has, is not just skill bands, because, again, so you don't really going to put a bunch of them on there. There's some combo ones that might make its way out there. And you get a nice little helping of those things. You can wear them as rings, If you're going to a fancy Blood Bowl dinner or a date lunch like you experienced the stream or try to experience, you can put those rings on. I like that.
Yeah, and if you want to complement your rings with the bracelets, Charlie will take care of you there
as well.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a compliment to the compliments. Did you ever? And I say did you, but you could be doing it now. Did you ever put olives on your fingers?
Oh, I did not.
Okay. Why you laugh? I never did that either. I swear.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can do olives on the fingers, skill bands on the below those, wristbands there, and then maybe a Blood Bowl sleeve at that point. Of your favorite Blood Bowl art, get that done. So
Sure.
You could do that. You go full on Blood Bowl arm. I like it. Next month, hopefully we'll be talking Amoracle with Sean. We're going to bring back some old segments. You might hear, those intros for Blood Bowl in America. You might hear back in the day. You might hear Zlurpcast exclusive, and you might even hear a Go For It. Maybe you'll get to play Go For It and win fabulous cash and prizes. No cash, but shitty prizes, of course. Anything else Extreme, or do we wrap it all up? We're good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. May Krampus bring you all of the Blood Bowl stuff you want. And we'll talk to you in 25-26 from Zlurpcast.
Well, they say all good things come to an end.
What's that got to do with this show?